and frustrated. And you know you've done so many things for other people. Perhaps you are a business owner and you've taken care of all of your employees. Maybe you are a mom and you've raised one or more children. Perhaps you are busy doing all sorts of beautiful philanthropy and you've done all sorts of beautiful works for other people. And you've enjoyed every minute. Only you've gotten to this place in your life and you thought, okay, I have doled out, right? Like dollar bills, all my time, energy, love, creativity, all these things. And why is it that I'm like a little pissed off? Or why is it that I'm a little tired? And normally I love this stuff. What's wrong? And so, if this is you, then hi, my name is Jen. I'm the founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness. I'm a transformational midlife purpose coach. And what I do is work with women who are brilliantly successful. And their big question they've got right now is there more to life? And the answer is hell yes. And if you can't arrive at that hell yes with complete certainty, then I have some solutions for you. So, what I love doing is working with women using a really creative approach that I've created out of my years of working in psychotherapy and my very favorite healing modalities. So, it's sort of like a choose your own adventure. We come together, we do some work, we get you some real clarity around where you've been, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. 3 steps. You're welcome. This is the new dance move. And so, that is what I do. So, today we're going to be talking a little bit about commitment. Someone just swooned. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, so I have a background of psychotherapy for over 22 years, and I never forget because it's been forever. And I also am certified in Reiki, crystal healing, tapping, emotion code. Yeah. So just get the gist, right? That what I'm saying is I lean into using both energy practices and very traditional psychology practices. So we're going to talk about commitment today. Why commitment, right? Well, because I know so many women in my life, and I know I've been one of them, is they were really good at giving to other people, at committing to volunteering, kids, child raising, partnerships, businesses, business journeys, and career paths. Maybe I have some CEOs that are listening. And so you have already done a lot of really brilliant work, and you've given a lot of your time and energy, which is one of your most precious resources. You've given it to everybody else. And maybe sparingly, you've like, I'm going to go on a little vacation or I'm going to go on a girls' weekend or I'm going to go to the spa for a day. Awesome. Awesome. One of the things I'm going to think about in midlife is you actually have a relationship with yourself. And so this is one of the things I love talking and teaching to because I think it's just a different approach. If I sat down with myself, what kind of relationship do I have? How am I taking care of myself? How do I honor, respect, and commit to myself? So I have, of course, because you all know that I love acronyms and acrostics. So I have recreated commit to stand for this, which you're thinking I could be on the floor by the time we're done. So if my eyes are just here, sorry in advance. If you're here, say hello. If you're here, say hello, hello, hello. I would love to hear your voice and say hello to you. So as I define it, commit stands for crafting ownership of your midlife magic to invest in and trust in yourself. Okay, so I want you to think about that one more time. One more time. Crafting ownership of your midlife magic to invest in and trust in yourself. So if we think about it, this is one of my favorite phrases. So back in the day when I was in psychotherapy all the time, very, very traditional practice. I own my own practice for years and years. And one of the things that I love doing was talking with people about this notion, trust. You'll notice the word trust is in there. But I love when I create things and that it all comes to fruition, how I just want it to click and connect. So when someone would come in and they would say, Jen, I'm not sure if I can trust someone. I'd say, okay, so here's 2 things to look at. Do they say and do the same things? Okay. One of my favorites when someone was newly dating. This was one of my favorites. Jen, but like, what if this person's like not who they say they are? I'm not sure. This is so new. I'm kind of scared. And I would say, okay, so do they do and say the same things? And then I said, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to go spend time with them, their friends, and their family. Why? Because you're watching to see how congruent they are in every single thing that they say and do, right? So the same is true for us. We're going to turn that inward and we want to think about, I've done a lot of things in my life, and have I shown up in relationship to myself in a way that says I can trust myself? So, one of the ways that I gauge relationships at this juncture in my life, and I want to speak to this really quickly because I think it's really prudent. I'll be honest, this is going to sound so snooty, but when I tell you that I'm really only interested in having friendships and relationships with people who are able to say what they mean and mean what they say, that's really true. Like I'm not mincing words. I just don't have time for games. Life is too short to spend hanging out where I have to try to decipher, like I need my like code, right? The Da Vinci Code. Like I need like my little decoder machine to go around the world and figure out what you mean and what you say. I don't got time for that shit. Gonna be real honest. If you do, namaste. I do not, and I don't want to spend my time that way. And one of the lessons of being a psychotherapist was that um, life can be really short and it's really precious. And so to assume I've got a gazillion millennia to work some of my shit out, I don't believe in that. So take it or leave it. That's kind of how I approach things. And at this point in my life, that's really what I'm most interested in is having relations with people who say what they mean and mean what they say. What they say and what they do match up 90% of the time. Because some of the time we're going to be human. We're going to make mistakes and we're going to, fall down on the job or we're going to be sick or we're going to have a disruption. Like that happens. Like I'm not talking that. But I'm just saying you're congruent. You know who you are, you commit to who you are, and you show up that way most of the time, right? So I hope that's the gist. And so what I want you to think about is, do you commit that same way to yourself? So I want you to imagine for a second, if I sat you down across from yourself at a table and I said to you, how you doing? How are you doing committing to yourself, your journey, your work, your purpose, your relationship to yourself, your kindness, compassion? How are you doing with that? I would love to hear what you have to say. So if you're willing to share, I know this is really vulnerable. I don't normally ask quite this depth of a question, but I would really love to have you, Lena, as a midlife woman, tell me what that other part of you is saying. Is she like, hell yeah, we're on board. We're killing life and taking names. We are always on board. We're taking care of ourselves. We've committed. We're in this relationship and we do the things we do to love and care for ourselves. And then what happens is I know I can trust myself. So one of the things that I think is trippy about this, right, is every single thing we do, someone else is watching. I want you to think about this. Every single thing we do, someone else is watching. Friends, partners, children, whoever, our employees, whoever it might be. They're watching. They're watching to see what we do. So if I show up and I'm like, you should take care of yourself. You should take vacations. You should slow down. You should, and I'm doling out my advice and my wisdom like a boss. But what you see is me bringing a stale bag with a bagel in it that's half eaten and cold coffee. And that's my lunch. And I work through all of my lunches and I stay till 10 p.m. and I have to drink to sleep every night. If you're starting to witness that what I'm doing in my life isn't actually what I'm preaching, how is someone going to trust me? How is someone going to trust me? I have to trust me. And so I will say this, if you hang in, if you're looking for my vlogs on Tuesdays, and I really recommend you do this entire month is about this subject in different layers of your being, which is how I teach. I really encourage you to lean into this and watch for this. I want for you in midlife to develop a relationship with you where you know you stand for what you mean, you do what you say what you mean. Hi, everybody. Hi, Martha. How are you? Aldine, how are you? If you're still here with me, nice to see you. I want you to commit to yourself. And I would like for you to be aware about how much you're willing to do that and how much you're practicing it. And I want to say this, I don't think Rome was built in a day. So one of my new coaching clients started and it was so great to hear her. I'm like, I know you, so I know kind of where we're starting, but tell me about why you're here and what you're going to be working on. And she was like, I'm going to be the best version of myself in the second 50 years as I was the first. I want to be even better. She's talking about up-leveling her life. That's the kind of magic that I want you to bring. I want you to want to up-level your life. I want you to be the best version of you. The second 50 years is way better than the first, right? And so I get really excited. That's how women show up in their work with me. And this is what I love. And sometimes this is some of the work we have to go back in and start with. Can you trust yourself? So this last week, I traveled to Utah, which was really cool. It was such a good, oh my God, it was an amazing trip to see my best friend. I was out in Utah. It was beautiful and it's a sacred soul space anyway. And it was amazing. And partway through the journey, we had a loss. It was a friend that I got to know just briefly at a retreat, but this friend that passed away was really close with some of my very close friends. So I want to talk about committing to that journey because I was there. I was supposed to come home Wednesday and I was like, I feel like I would like to stay for the service. Sarah was a beautiful human being. I want to honor, respect, and pay that like energy forward that Sarah so freely gave. And she meant what she did. She lived her life out loud and she lived her life in this very way. She said what she meant, what she meant, what she said. And I really honored her. And I wanted to honor the women that have had this incredible loss. So I ended up staying a little bit longer, which meant I wasn't here on Thursday for my live. I had some days missing that I was planning on doing some business things to get I have some big events coming in order that I was like ready to kind of like dive in, get some things done, taken care of. So what happened is I missed out on some things, but there was a choice. There was a choice, right? So this is what I want to say. If I'm teaching women in my sphere to love themselves, take care of themselves, honor themselves, and respect what they need. But I'm there and I feel torn about coming home because it's either work or taking care of my loved ones for a minute. And I know that work will get done. I know that I'll circle back to that. My commitment to myself fell in that camp of, I'm going to take care of my people. I'm going to take care of my people. Can we always do that? No. I was fortunate that I could make that decision, right? So I want you to be stepping into this space of thinking about that. Are you in a space where you're committing to say what you mean and mean what you say? And my deciding to stay was, I love these people. I've committed to these people, and a commitment to myself is standing in the power of what I've said and what I teach, right? I could have gotten on a plane. I could have gotten on a plane and no one would have judged me for that. That did not feel right to me in my soul. So in that moment, committing to myself was, what's in alignment for you? What helps you trust yourself, right? I trust myself when I live in the word that I speak. And so for me, that was huge. So this was just one example of a way where it was like, no, this is really right now, this is a commitment that I want to make. And this feels really good to my soul. One of my favorite ones I've witnessed was my sister, who is an accountant, and she's a high level, like upper level. Oh, she's not the CEO, CFO. I think she's the CFO. She's badass. Anyway, bought herself a car this last year. This really beautiful Lexus, this beautiful red Lexus. And that was something that she felt like she earned, and she did. And to me, that was a commitment to herself. I work my ass off. I do a lot of things. I dole a lot of things out, and I'm able to receive. I'm able to fully receive that which I would encourage my daughter, my sister, my friend. I want to be able to give that same exact thing to myself. And that's where I want you to think about for yourself. Like, do I do the things that I preach? Because when you do what you preach, people trust. So there's this, it's kind of symbiotic. If I do things that I say and mean, I trust myself. Huge. In that relationship with me, I want to know that I'm trustworthy. But I also am always mirroring out to the world what everyone sees about my actions. Am I saying what I'm doing? Am I saying what I mean? Right? So if people are always watching and we know that everything great starts with us, this is where we always want to begin our journey. And I want to challenge you to think about that relationship you have with yourself. And I know this sounds very, very weird. I get it. To the ears to start, this sounds like some magical bullshit that I'm just spouting out, but it's actually not. How am I sitting with myself? How am I loving myself? How am I taking care of myself? In midlife, my God, you've done a million things for other people. I hope, and that's what I'm saying I get excited by, is my women are like, I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done trying to just like take care of everybody else, put a Band-Aid on myself. I'm like the walking wounded. I'm exhausted. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. I'm not satisfied. I'm doing all this and still all the while giving, 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 giving. And they don't know, right? They're like, how do I slow this shitty roll I'm on so that I can actually love myself again? And maybe it's the first time a woman does. Like she might think she was okay, but like she's just uncovering, like she's actually really freaking awesome. And so I get really excited because by the time women are so frustrated and kind of tapped out and they show up to coaching, they're like, let's do this shit. That's my favorite. That's the best kind of energy. Those women are ready to up level. So when I talk about investing in and trusting yourself, this is what I'm getting at. That if you were sitting across from you, and this is how I want you to think about it, I know it sounds super wonky. If you're sitting across from you, what would you say? If you said, how well are we taking care of ourselves? How often do we commit to ourselves? And I'm going to say this, Rome wasn't built in a day. So my dad's one of Pete Zenza's favorite phrases of all time was, even if it's wrong, do something even if it's wrong. And it's really funny because when he would say it when I was a teenager, I was like, okay, like I'm not sure what the hell that means. And then all of a sudden I found myself in my therapy office going, even if it's wrong, do a thing. Why? Because sometimes it's about inactivity and inaction that actually creates that sense of like dread and heaviness in us energetically. And so sometimes it's just about making a really small step forward that actually makes a really huge ripple effect kind of experience. And so even if it's something as simple as, I've committed all this time and energy to other people. So can I say I'm going to wake up 5 minutes early, have a cup of coffee or make a cup of tea and just sit? Maybe I read a book, maybe I journal, maybe I listen to music, maybe I listen to a podcast. I don't care how you start this journey, right? You can tell it's like so flexible, but it's like picking one thing, just picking one thing that you're going to incorporate and that's really you loving you like you would want someone else to do, right? It's really creating this relationship. And journaling is actually a really epic way to start having a relationship and commitment to yourself because it's a really great tool for reflection. And so I do strongly recommend that. But if you're not a journaler right now, like again, right? If it's a prayer before you get out of bed, if it's setting an intention while you're getting ready, it doesn't matter how you do it, but literally setting a line in the sand. How often do you bow out on your commitments to yourself? How often? And if your answer is still pretty often, time to take a step back. This is not criticism. Time to reevaluate and time to reset. You get to do that every single day, as many times as you want in your life, as many times as you want, right? That's all this is, an invitation. So this conversation is just an invitation. I want you to grow a different kind of awareness in the things that you relate to in your life and the layers of how you show up. And there's so many facets of who you are. But committing to yourself really creates a sense of trust within yourself that you mean what you say and you say what you mean. Other people experience that, they trust you, right? My friends that do this are so refreshing. I don't then have to be doing my life and like, oh my God, is she really upset and not telling me? Oh my God, is that happening? What's that mean? What's that? Why is that going on? I don't have to do that. That's why I'm choosy, because I don't have to spend energy and time that's precious to me as a resource worrying about dumb stuff. I just know the people that I'm with are trustworthy. And if I trust myself, I can trust them and vice versa. Really powerful. You need to commit to taking action and loving action for yourself. That is really powerful. And sometimes the doorway of midlife, like with my daughter moved out for the first time this year, so it's been a half of a year now. It was hard to make that transition. It was really hard. I still miss her. And it's really neat to see. My husband's taking golf lessons, right? I'm traveling more. Like there's things that we're doing that when I was so actively in the midst of parenting and doing all my things, right? We're working at a practice in a really traditional way. I was busy all the freaking time. I didn't get to commit to myself to the level that I wanted. I didn't get to say, you know what, business can pause for 3 or 4 days because my friends need me. That's more important right now. That's a lifestyle change for me. And I was like, I don't want to live according to somebody else's values. Sorry. So I'm my own boss. I'm a really good my own boss. So that was the kind of choice that I wanted to have and live by. And that's what's happened for me is I committed to that kind of relationship. Do I still fall down? Absolutely. Will you? Absolutely. Is that forgivable? Absolutely. While we're practicing this, you just want to give yourself a ton of grace and space to like lean into this and know that it's going to be a practice. But you begin to do this more and more and more. What happens is you're so aligned and you feel so settled. And I can stop being pissed off or exhausted because I'm always doling things out that really I don't want to dole out, right? Energy, time, money. Relationship is huge. We'll be talking about that this month. So listen, here's the deal. If any of this resonated for you and you were like, hot damn, I could use some effort in this area, the me and the me that are having a conversation are like at each other. Okay, I've got a solution for you. So this coming Wednesday, my dear friend Laurel Houston of Reflections Inside and Out and I are going to be collaborating to host a workshop that is about commitment issues. And it's just a kitschy play on words for committing to yourself. So this month, in the month of February, when I know it's so easy for all of us to lean into the romanticism of Valentine's Day and right, like our kids, our partners, our friends, blah, 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 love all that. And I love all that. And I'm still going to do all that, right? Maybe got my shirt on. Thank you, Reverie Boutique. But I'm just saying, even though we're doing all of that, one of the things that likely gets missed is I'm like, have you committed to loving yourself this month? That's what this month is about. So in my practice, in my vlogs and my content, that's what I'm teaching to. And so Laurel and I are coming in next Wednesday evening. It's a 3-hour event. It is free. It is free. And we are going to be diving into some of the areas in which you can begin to readjust your commitment to yourself. So I'm really excited to be bringing that to you. I will put the link to that in the comments. And so you can go and quickly, easily just click and sign up. Like I said, super easy. All you need to give us is your email so that we know how to send you the Zoom link. And come and join us to lean in and listen. We're going to be talking about some banging hot material. I'm really excited. We've already spent time this week going over all of the journey we're going to offer you. And it is so, so powerful. So I really hope that one of the ways you can commit to yourself in the very beginning of this month is by joining us at that workshop. It is a really, really awesome space to come in and start kind of revving up your engines for this idea of commitment to yourself. And so I'll be talking about it all month. I've got a boundary workshop coming up in 2 weeks right after this next coming Wednesday when I teach with Laurel. I'll be teaching a workshop on boundaries. If you need some support and help in that area, this is going to be money. This is one of my favorite things to teach ever. So I'm super excited and I hope you get to come join me for that as well. But to start, I want to just tell you about that beautiful workshop that Laurel and I will be holding next Wednesday. We'll be taking questions, comments, all that. It's going to be amazing. Laurel is a hoot. She and I have a great time together. I know you're going to love her. If you're new to her, I love her. You're going to love her. And so I'm really excited for her to be introduced into some of my community because she and I are going to be doing some collaborations together. So this is a brilliant way to introduce her. I hope you'll kind of come and hang out with us and see what you think. You're going to love her. And I guarantee you're going to walk away with a different sense of what we're getting at for this. That's always what lights my soul on fire. My soul gets really lit when I know that you are kind of going, I hadn't thought about it that way. That's my favorite. And I guarantee you that Laurel and I both teach from that perspective. We want you to have a new lens, a new way of seeing things, and a new experience to adjust your sails in a way that makes most and best sense for you. And I swear to the Lord, what we're all about is elevating women's lives. So both of us have a very firm belief system about that. So you're going to get that energy out of both of us. Guarantee you it's going to be some fun. So I hope you'll come join us. Like I said, I'll pop that link right in the comments. You can go grab that and you can go find that easily. Sign up, come hang out with us. I would give you the address, but I think it's reflectionsinsideout.com/commitment-issue. I think that's right. Commitment-issue. You can try it. It's not in my head solid. And this is midlife. So we'll see how my memory goes. But I do think it's reflectionsinsideout.com/commitment-issue. Go check it out. Free. Come join us. We would love to have you in our communities, expose you to some new ideas and up-leveling around committing to yourself this holiday instead of other people, which we know you can do, right? Rather than doling out, we want to dole out to yourself. So we're going to be talking about that next Wednesday. Come and join me. And I look forward to seeing you there. But until next time, this is Jen signing off, hoping that you have blessings, love, and light in your life, and that I am supporting you. Just remember this, to rise on your path of purpose in midlife so that you, right, can live your very best midlife and you can live into that beautiful, deep purpose that you want to bring and that you can be a revolutionary in that way. All right, my friends, take care. We'll see you next time.